Going to be a follow-up from my episode on purple. I was going to do an episode on red, but there was a lot of stuff about purple that I actually forgot, and I feel a little bit guilty about that. You may have noticed with a lot of the episodes that, I seem like I'm having trouble recalling things. It's just because I haven't been sleeping well for the last few weeks. In Seattle, there was a heat wave and a few weeks ago, and that's long over now. But for some reason, my sleep just hasn't caught up yet, and I don't get good sleep generally. I feel pretty good at the moment, which is why I'm recording now, though. I'm doing the best I can. I've never actually done a YouTube channel about where I'm just me lecturing before this. Um, just trying to, and I don't have a great deal of free time, so I can't always do recording when I'm completely with it. Fortunately, I feel pretty with it now, which is strange considering I only got about 4 hours of sleep last night. But anyway, here I am. So there were some things about purple that I neglected. First of all, I wanted to give more examples of purple, not within humans, but actually in animals. There's a lot of purple animals because humans are they're definitely the most evolved species on the planet, but even still, other species can appear on spiral dynamics. They're not, they're not up at orange and green or things like that, but they can be beige, they can be purple. There's actually a few that have reddish, like chimpanzees are very intelligent. They have a little bit of shades of stage red, but I'm not talking about red right now. It's purple. Primates definitely can exhibit a lot of purple behavior. Chimpanzees are again an example of that. There's a lot of purple in chimps, the way they interact, the way they form societies, and also other primates as well. Gorillas and um, uh, baboons, and I forget all the others, and it's not because I'm spacey, it's because there's a lot of different primate species. Anyway, another example is dolphins. Dolphins are very interesting. Dolphins and whales. Um, they actually have language that uses words. Grammar is less certain. I suspect they do have grammar, but they have different names that they call each other. Um, and they have complex social gatherings. That there's certain use of tool making, not like we would use, but like dolphins will sometimes take kelp or seaweed and they will drape it over one of their fins and they will wear it like clothing so that they can impress other members in their community of the opposite sex. So there's rudimentary tool making, and tool making is something that at beige, and language for stage purple, language seems to be the really big thing that gets developed. Language is really what catapults stage purple forward and differentiates it from beige. Language meaning, more than just grunting and gesturing, a communication that uses words. It doesn't have to be verbal. It could be something else. In the circumstance of Earth, it is verbal, uh, just because of how life developed. There's and of course, dolphins use sonar, which is, depending on how you define it, another form of verbal, but it doesn't necessarily have to be like that. If there was some other species that used light or something to talk to each other, like as long as it used words and they had names for each other and grammar and used it to create complex social gatherings, it would be a language, and I think it would bring them up to stage purple. So the role of language with purple, it really does seem to be a requirement, um, because for tribes of hundreds or thousands of people that are getting together, I think it helps differentiate the tribes from each other, and also it helps those large communities to organize each other. And you do need to be very highly organized in order to make something like that work. So you need names for people, you need nouns, so you can point at something and say this, you need verbs. I need this thing done with this object, very important. All these kinds of things, you see that with all the tribes that are, all the purple human tribes are studied all over the world, in Africa, Afghanistan, Tibet, it doesn't matter. That their language is simply a requirement. Dolphins have language. Um, Chimpanzees probably have language, although it's a bit harder to tell with them. Language is like the really big thing, in a similar way to how tool making was the big thing for beige. So requirement for beige is tools. Requirement for purple is language. Um, all the stages seem to have various different requirements. Like for red, it seems to be complex weapons like metals and stuff. I won't go into that here, but like there's different stuff for each stage that's sort of like a requirement. And for purple, it's language. So those are some examples of purple, and I also wanted to go into more of the wisdom of purple, because like I'm worried that I kind of like tried a bit too hard to belittle it in the last episode, and there's some definite things that you learn from purple. Like all the stages should be integrated. All of them have various different pluses and minuses. So with purple, it's the ability to bond with nature, not in a hippie sense, but just since they're forced to live among nature, they have to bond with it. They know all the different plant species implicitly. They know the different animals implicitly. It's that kind of connection. It's true that purple sort of like has this aversion to technology that in the modern world is not a terribly healthy manifestation of purple, but there is at the same time a kind of freedom in that, a freedom of, what if we didn't have technology? What if life wasn't so complicated? What if it was simple? Now, of course, there's the harsh reality that it isn't, but sometimes it can be good to remove yourself from the world, remove yourself from society. Even for a little while, lots of people do that. They go out in the wilderness on camping trips and stuff, and it's sort of like a purple-esque get-together. There's definite wisdom to purple. It gives you an attunement to the world that other stages generally don't have. It also tends to be spiritual in some interesting kinds of ways, like with Shinto's a good example. And Tibetan Buddhism is a very interesting kind of example. There's definite advantages to being purple, so I don't want people coming away from this whole thing just thinking that I hate purple or something, because I don't. Like, I find it very interesting. I find all the stages interesting, and that's why I'm doing this follow-up to make that clear. So as a final topic regarding purple, there's a few more aspects of purple that I forgot to mention just because I was tired during the last one and I spaced out. There's charms, like little objects like rosaries that people wear around themselves to ward off evil spirits. That's something you get from purple. In the Day of the Dead in Latin America, the sugar skulls and ornaments and things, those are from purple. Voodoo as a religion is stage purple. Those are just another way of manifesting purple. Totems are also a purple thing. These, wooden obelisk structures with faces on them that are meant to ward off and or, do away with bad spirits, bring in good ones, things like that. So that's more aspect of purple. And I think that about covers it. Yeah, this is going to be a shorter one. It's like a follow-up to Purple episode. And in the future, I'll try to do recording when I'm a bit more with it. But like I said before, I don't have a huge amount of free time. It's not always something I have in my control. And, this channel is like an experiment. I'm just testing what works, testing what doesn't. So my quality will definitely get better over time. Anyway, that's it for now.